You are now tuned to 710 Radio, Rosemary's World of Cannabis. Yeah, we getting started just a hair early. I didn't look for the spin to go so fast. So, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to get this public service out there. Wait, and then when we come back, we're going to have the man on the air. Once again, you're tuned to 710. Check us out now.
Are you feeling like a shadow of yourself? Is your mood on its way down? You could be suffering from low THC, also known as cannabinoid deficiency, caused by 77 years of government interference via prohibition. Do you live in a medical cannabis state or the District of Columbia? Are you over the age of 18 and seeking non-toxic natural health, well-being, and peace of mind? Ask your doctor if cannabis may be right for you. After 10,000 years of recorded human use and 77 years of failed prohibition on the world's most extensively tested plant, the results are in. Cannabis has no known lethal dose and is arguably the safest and most comprehensive therapeutic substance known to man. Cannabis remained in the United States pharmacopoeia until 1941, and cannabinoids are currently patented by the federal government as an anti-inflammatory U.S. Patent 6630507. Human brains have cannabinoid receptors. Cannabinoids are lubricants in the human body. Due to prohibition, our bodies have been denied essential lubrication. Imagine never changing or adding to the oil in your car. The use of cannabis for low THC may cause immediate relief, including a general feeling of well-being, chronic smiling or laughing, feelings of euphoria, increased creativity or clarity, a greater appreciation for music and art, the desire to dance, increased feelings of inspiration, compassion or unity, a need for truth and justice, or you may wake feeling more well-rested than usual. It's undetermined to know exactly how many symptoms the use of cannabis may alleviate because of federal prohibition. There were dozens identified in the 1909 Eli Lilly Pharmaceutical Handbook. Currently, over 80% of the population supports the right to use cannabis therapeutically, and 92% of its users have declared significant non-toxic relief. The most common side effects, which are usually mild to moderate and may fade or disappear completely over time, are dry mouth and drowsiness. Other more serious side effects can include growing and repairing brain cells and DNA or improve vision, may prevent Alzheimer's, dementia, glaucoma, nausea, and suicide, may provide relief from autism, asthma, anorexia, arthritis, AIDS, cancer, Crohn's, depression, epilepsy, fibromyalgia, gout, IBS, insomnia, MS, migraine, pain, Parkinson's, PTSD, and spasticity. Use caution while driving or doing other physical activities until you know how cannabis affects you. May cause paranoia or nervousness specifically caused by real-life government intervention in your quest for life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness in the USA. Ask your doctor if cannabis may be right for you. Brought to you as a public service announcement by the People's Plant, a campaign of conscience.
We are back. You are in tune to 710 Radio, the Wake and Bake Show with Ms. Green Jeans, and we have a caller on the air. Caller, tell them who you are and where you calling from.
Hey, good morning, Rosemary. It's Dan, and I'm calling from California.
Oh, you calling from Freedom.
The Wake and Bake State.
Yep, you calling from Freedom, man. How is the weather out there?
No, the weather's good. You know, right now, actually, I'm sitting in my car talking to you because I didn't want to wake up my wife.
I could understand that.
The weather's good. It's about 72 or 73. You know, as you know, Lisa and I drove across country in our RV to get to California because I'm going to be here another 6 or 7 months, getting treatment myself, and then also we're starting a new company and just doing a bunch of other stuff in the cannabis industry. Mm-hmm. But that's not exactly what I wanted to talk about first. What I wanted to talk about first is, you know, the last public event I attended to, I might have gone over the line a little bit with Senator Daniel Burton,
okay,
who is the head of the subcommittee. Medical subcommittee who determines, you know, medical marijuana issues in South Carolina. Mm-hmm. And bottom line was, what happened is that I went to attend this. I was already kind of angry because, you know, getting caught up in politics, it's just frustrating. And I went to listen to Senator Burton speak. And the more he spoke, the more my PTSD got out of control and the angrier I got. And so, you know, I asked him a question, why is marijuana illegal? And he couldn't tell me. He's the head of the subcommittee, but he couldn't tell me. Mm. And I blew up. I mean, I just blew up. I was completely out of control. You know, I said things that were all accurate, but probably not appropriate for that venue.
Okay.
You know, and I got angry because he's withholding medicine from people like you that actually went to Afghanistan, while he goes and plays war for the Sons of the Confederates.
Well, let me get that straight first and foremost. I never went to any war, so I don't want nobody to come back and say I claimed anything. Mine is from a different form of PTSD, but I do have people that's on my Facebook page personally that has been to Afghanistan. So let's get that straight.
Right. But yeah, but you know what I'm saying. People
right.
Have come and done those things. And you know, his sole experience in the military was being part of Sons of Confederate Veterans, where they dress up and they go play war.
Oh, jeez.
Right? And you know, I lost control of myself, so I would like to personally apologize on air to Senator Daniel Verdon for my behavior that evening.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he shouldn't have been there, and I shouldn't have been there at the same time. I know that now. So now that I got that out of the way.
Okay, well, you know what? It takes a big man to apologize. First and foremost, I want to, applaud you for, feeling that way and being like that. Because I'm going to be honest with you. If I was telling the truth and I was in that moment, I don't know if I could actually draw back from that.
Well, my efforts reflect directly on you and the other people in South Carolina.
Okay.
That are in the cannabis industry.
Mm-hmm.
And because I'm associated with you guys, not because of anything else, just because I'm associated with you.
Right.
And I never want anything I do to stop any progress that's being made.
Okay.
And the other thing is, it's the right thing to do.
Okay.
I was out of control.
Okay.
So I appreciate it.
Not a problem.
Before we get into California, because what I'd like to talk about a little bit, just kind of informally, nothing really formal, except
right.
for I would like to talk a little bit about politics, not from a partisan standpoint, but just in general, as we're moving gently to talk about California, right?
Okay.
So, and this applies, I think, to just about every politician. Not all, but just about everyone. I think there's one in South Carolina that doesn't fit this mold, and we'll talk about.
Mm-hmm.
But I believe that just about every politician is a coward at heart, right? And what I mean by that is politically a coward at heart. Because they don't vote most of the time for what's right. They vote for what's best for them. So if that means against the medical marijuana bill gets them elected next year because they get money from other people or money from big pharma or money from private prisons, to help get them reelected, that's what they're going to do. And so they don't make the honest choice for what's right.
Mm-hmm.
Now, we all know, all of us know, that cannabis doesn't kill people. We also all know anecdotally that cannabis helps a ton of people. I mean, I have 4 people that I paid for this year that were in stage 4, had stage 4 cancer problems. And some friends of mine from California treated them along with the doctors in their home states. They weren't in California, except one. And all 4 of them are now cancer-free.
Wow.
All 4. One had even signed his death benefit.
Oh, my goodness.
But we can't use it in South Carolina because, the politicians get too much money from other sources, right? It's not about what they believe. It's about the money. And so coming up, this year is a huge, huge election between governors and some other folks as well. And I'm leaning right now, this is my personal choice. And I'm just asking other people to look at their personal choice as well.
Mm-hmm.
James Smith for governor seems to be the guy. You know, for me, he has come out in support of veterans. He's come out in support of medical marijuana. He's come out in support of some other things. Unlike any other governor or any other candidate we've had, he's just stepped right up there. And so I would ask every single listener here to, if you've checked him out and you think that he's the right guy, regardless of whether he's a Republican or Democrat, you gotta forget that stuff and elect the right guy. And if he's the right guy, go to work for him, elect him. We've got to get people out there that are doing things for the wrong reasons. And I think James is one of the guys that's doing stuff for the right reasons. I would like to see him, and I was talking to him on the radio here, we'd love to see him invite you and Jill and all the other people that are involved in the cannabis movement to his office to talk about it. That would go a long way for me.
I am waiting on that invitation because I'm personally on his page and I personally support him for governor of the state of South Carolina. Every chance I get, I'm sharing his brochures and everything. So I am a strong supporter for Mr. Smith, due to the fact that he is for cannabis and due to the fact that he is a veteran. So he can understand better than anybody else our problems.
I agree. And so, you know, he's one of those guys that does things for the right reasons. Now, you can look at people, and I'm not going to name names. You can look at people on the medical committee and just go down the list and see who's doing things for the wrong reason. Kevin Johnson.
Amen.
And, you know, you could go down the list and see who else is doing things for the wrong reasons. Harvey Dealer.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I know they are because I paid for an investigation.
Mm.
You know, I'm not going to get into all that, but the point being is that we know who's doing things for the right reasons and the wrong reasons.
Right.
And my opinion, and that's all I'm going to say, is my opinion is that those guys are doing things for the wrong reasons until they can prove to me that their opinion and their reason for continuing in this prohibition of cannabis is the right thing. But they can't convince me of that. So, but at least have the intestinal fortitude, and I'm challenging every single person on that medical committee, at least to have the intestinal fortitude to stand up, stop being a coward, and make your public position known. Stop lying that you're considering it, because we all know you're either for it or you're against it. So just stand up, be an adult with integrity, and say you're either for or against it today. Just do that, and that way we all understand what we're doing and what we're up against. And you know, I think that is the honorable thing to do, instead of coming out going, well, I don't know too much about this, and I'm just thinking about it. You know, that's not integrity. That's not honesty. And so we want people that are honest with integrity, and we want the medical committee to come out, every single one of them come out and say where they are, position-wise, just like James Smith has. You know, our own governor has not even done that. You know, I wrote a letter to the governor published by Fitz News several months ago, and he never responded to it. So the only politician we have in the entire state that has the integrity to say yay or nay on the cannabis issue is James Smith. He's got my vote because these other people do not have intestinal fortitude to do that. So that's my pitch. And I don't know if that was cogent enough or not, or, you know, if it made sense. But I'm just asking for people to be honest in South Carolina.
I know I am too.
I was just asking for the politicians to stand up, say what they believe in, and be honest.
Well, first of all, we shouldn't have to ask them to stand up and be honest, and integrity should come with the office that they'll hold. And for us to have to ask for them to be like that, that's a problem.
Well, that's because there's no IR, there's no initiative referendum in the state. And what that means is initiative referendum, and I do believe this, we made a mistake, not we, but everybody in the cannabis group made a mistake.
Mm-hmm.
And that is, instead of asking for cannabis to become legal, we should have been fighting all along for initiative referendum. And what that does is every state that's a legal marijuana state, either medically or legally, or, you know, recreationally,
mm-hmm.
all of them, all 29 of them, except for I think 3 or 4, have initiative referendum. What that means is it gives people in the state control over their Senate and legislators.
Right.
So that means if Rosemary decides she wants marijuana legal, the only thing she has to do is go to the State House, get the forms, you know, fill them out, and then go get, let's say, 300,000 signatures around the state, and then that gets placed on the ballot, and people vote on it then.
Okay, question for you. Yeah, question for you on that, Dan. Is South Carolina
as far as I can read, the people in power at the time were afraid of being overwhelmed by the people not in power. That would be poor whites and recently freed blacks. And so it's been that way throughout the history of South Carolina. But if we had initiative referendum, we wouldn't be talking about Harvey Peeler. We wouldn't be talking about Daniel Burton. We wouldn't be talking about the governor. We'd be talking about getting signatures and getting them on the ballot. So, my point is that, you know, if they don't step up this time, we need to go for the IR.
Yeah.
And I've talked very, very, very briefly with a friend of ours, Emily McSherry.
Okay.
And Emily thinks the IR is a good way to go as well. And you know what it does? It takes away a ton of power from the senators and legislators. They can't say no to stuff anymore.
Mm.
And that's the first thing that I would ask Governor Smith if I were in front of him now. Do you support an initiative referendum change to the Constitution? Because it's the only way, it's truly the only way to stop the current political climate in the state.
That is so true.
Because then the people of South Carolina get the power. You know what? They don't like what someone's doing. Now, initial referendum's hard. You got to go out there. You got to get signatures. You got to do it correctly. You have to do it in a certain time frame. This is not easy stuff.
No, it's not.
But
it can be done.
Other states have done it well, and I have to tell you, it balances out the power. Right now, the power, there is no balance of power in South Carolina. The senators and the legislators have all the power. We have none. We're at their beck and call.
Right. This is another thing that I want to ask you real quick, because you're pretty knowledgeable. And I've been playing with this thought also. You know, they have the breach of affection, breach of breach of affection law here in South Carolina. And why I'm asking that is this. Say, for instance, we can't get nothing done here in South Carolina and I have to move. Can I personally sue the state of South Carolina because I am having to separate from my husband?
Well, I just have a hard time hearing it because of my radio or my phone. Say that again, please.
Okay, I said breach of affection law that's here in South Carolina. And I wonder if I could use that as a defense if we don't get off, at least the representatives in South Carolina don't get off their behind, and I have to move because I don't want to get sick again. Could we use that law in a defense?
Yeah, I'm not certain. I don't want to give out legal stuff. I'll let you talk to Lisa offline.
Okay, great.
My wife's an attorney and a judge, so.
I just was playing with that because, it's like this. You can't separate families, and that's what it's doing, and I guarantee you they don't like being sued.
Right.
So it's just something that, I've talked about it off air quite a few times, and me and other people that's faced in that situation was wondering, could that be done?
Yeah, I don't know. Talk to her. I don't want to give out any legal advice.
I can understand that, but yeah, I will be happy to talk to Lisa about that because we want to give people, that second option. I know 300,000 signatures is a lot and it takes some time, but some people don't have that time, so we, got to look for that second and third route. We got to look for every possibility to try helping people get well. Period.
No, I agree with you. I have to tell you that when I'm in California, and everybody will either laugh or scoff, but I am 75% better than when I'm in South Carolina.
I know you are.
And it's just like, I know that. And I keep coming back to South Carolina because my grandson is there. And it puts me at risk, and it puts other people at risk. Mm-hmm. People that I don't even know. Yeah, it's a very difficult problem there.
Yes.
But I'm going to let you and Lisa talk about that offline.
Okay, great. I can understand that.
Yep. I'm just going to wrap up one more thing politically. And that is the two things that I think are important is, one, find politicians regardless of their party that's not a coward. And I mean that in political sense, right? You might have all the intestinal fortitude in the world at your house, but if you're a public servant and you're not taking care of business, because it's not good for you, then I think that, and you're not making decisions for your constituents because it's not good for you, that's cowardly.
Exactly.
So please take a look at those. And then the other is, I would hope that you would support James Smith if he meets your criteria. He meets mine in just about every single way. Now, one thing I would love to see him come out and support is a constitutional change so that there's an initiative referendum.
Exactly.
But I've never asked him. So I would just like someone back there to ask him that question.
Well, I'll tell you like this, if we can get that panel together with that would be a good panel for him to sit on to get even more votes out for him. Maybe after the show I'll hit up his webpage and see can we go ahead and toss all three of those names in the ring and say, hey, we'll even do it on whatever station, because I know I got a couple of stations that would be happy to cover it here in South Carolina.
Yeah. And so we'll do that. And then we'll go to the next topic. Since these are all kind of random topics, they're just, I don't want to be ranting and raving on the radio like I have at times. Mm-hmm. I wanted to cover the politics. I wanted to apologize to Senator get some things accomplished. And then very briefly, I want to tell you about my trip across country and how I handled it, because I think it'll help some other folks as well.
Okay.
And then we'll talk about California.
Great.
So my wife and I were pulling we have an RV, and we were pulling my car behind the RV. The roads were terrible. It was sleeting. It was snowing. The day before, wheel came off of the trailer from U-Haul that I was pulling, but they came out and put a brand new one on a half an hour later, so I had no complaints with U-Haul. But we slept in the rest area that night.
Mm-hmm.
That was in Tennessee. We couldn't get far because of the snow and the wheel problem.
Oh, wow.
So the next day, we're driving, and it's about 7 o'clock at night. And I didn't know you could get pulled over for crossing the solid white line on the outside, right? Because I'm in the far right-hand lane, the slow lane. And I'm pulling this stuff, and every now and then I would let my wheels drift over a little bit to let people by me that were in the other lane. So all of a sudden behind me, and realized I had medical cannabis in the bus. 3.5 ounces of it.
Ooh.
And so I'm driving, and the next thing I know is there are blue lights all over me.
Oh.
And I'm on Interstate 40.
Oh.
Yeah. Well, what I didn't know is, and what everybody here should hear when they go west, is that Interstate 40 is looked at as one of the major drug transporting routes in the United States.
Yep.
Worse than anywhere else. Of course, I didn't know that. And so the cop pulls me over. I pull over. I get my license out. I walk outside of the bus. And the first thing he asked me is, after I got my license, was, did I have more than $10,000 cash on the bus? Didn't ask me anything else, just asked me if I had more than $10,000 cash on the bus. And I laughed. And then he asked me if I had more than 5 pounds of marijuana on the bus, and I laughed. And he goes, well, I already ran your plate from your car, and I saw that you got arrested in Texas for having more than 5 or 10 pounds of marijuana, which is a lie. I got arrested for 1 ounce of medical marijuana in Texas. And he said, so I'm going to have to search your bus. But before he got to that part, he started asking me a bunch of questions, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, when I was in the military, I went through 2 schools to learn how to answer questions while being interrogated, right?
Right.
One was SEER school, and the other one was another school that I can't give you the name of.
Right.
And in that school, I learned to stay in my circle, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, and I hope that all of your listeners are listening to this point, because it works for cops too. To stay in your circle, because what we normally do is we give cops all kinds of information.
Yep.
Where are you going? Where did you come from? What are you doing? Do you have this? Do you have? Just all kinds of stuff that he's, pulling information from you, and you're just like being nice, right? Well, he's not being nice. He's being professional. And while you're being nice, he's getting a ton of information from you to use against you.
Right.
So, I used the circle, and I think that it's really good. So, if you look at yourself if you imagine having a circle with 4 data points or 3 data points on it, and say, like, for my circle, my data points were my name, what I'm doing there, and where I'm heading. That's it. 1,
Right.
2, 3. So the cop asked me, when he'd ask me something, I would say, I'm heading to San Diego. That's not what I asked you. I said, yeah, I know that, but I'm heading to San Diego. Then he'd ask me another question, and I would say, well, I'm driving along I-40 to get to San Diego. Then he'd ask another question. I'd say, well, my name's Dan. And go, you asked me that already. And I'd go back to boom, boom, boom. I never talked about anything than those 3 things.
Right.
Okay? Now, here's the secret to all of this. Don't be disrespectful. Have 3 to 4 data points in your circle, and always go back to your circle. You'll get pulled out of it, one way or another. You'll forget and you'll get pulled out, but always go back to it. Does that make sense?
Oh yeah, I do it all the time.
like when I'm talking and he goes, well, do you have kids? And you go, oh yeah, and their name's Zingle as well, and I'm just heading to San Diego. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Yeah, so practice your circle. If you drive and you think you're at risk, practice your circle. Don't be disrespectful to the cop. But he has a job to do, but so do you. My wife says, she's an attorney, she says don't talk at all. But I'm not recommending that to anybody, because then that just pisses the cop off.
Oh,
and you
yeah.
get in a lot more trouble. But your circle, have 3 or 4 data points before you go. Even before you leave your house, if your car smells like cannabis, you better have your circle in mind, right?
Exactly.
And always practice it. And I promise you, it will help you. It'll keep you out of trouble, but you won't talk too much. And I've used that for a long time, and it has it's worked for me immensely.
Mm-hmm.
And I hope that everybody that's listening grabs their circle, puts some data points in it, practices it, and then when he or she pulls you out of your circle, because you're gonna start talking, then you go, oh shit, I got to get back to it. I have to go back to my circle, and then reorient yourself, and then start giving your prepaid, answers, right?
Right.
And I think that things will go better for everybody.
I practiced the circle for the last 20 years, so I know exactly what you're talking about, because I travel across the country being military. And when you're going from, say for instance, we would travel, me and my husband and my family would travel from Missouri all the way here to South Carolina to visit family. That's a long way traveling. So believe me, my circle has been a 20-year practice, and it's got me me and my husband both out of quite a few tickets. Because if you don't give up no information, they sooner or later, when you give them basic 3 or 4 answers, they either gonna get pissed off, or 2, they gonna get tired. And if you standing in cold weather in Illinois, they don't want to be out there no longer than they have to.
No, and the bottom line to it all is, like I said, is be respectful.
Mm-hmm.
Stick with your answers. Know you're going to get pulled out of your circle, but when you recognize you're out of your circle, just pull yourself back in.
The key word: don't panic.
Yeah, and it's a lot more polite than not saying a word.
Right.
And it's a lot more professional, so that you don't kill yourself giving out information that you didn't really intend to give out.
Exactly.
So what he did to me was, he found out my wife was an attorney and a former judge. This guy was really nice to me. I mean, from the get-go, he was professional and he was nice. I really don't have anything bad to say. He was doing his job, right?
Mm-hmm.
Unlike the folks in Texas.
Ugh.
But this guy was doing his job, and once he found out I didn't have any big cash or any big load on board, he asked me, did I have a medical marijuana license? And I said, yes. He goes, is there medical marijuana on board? And I said, yes. Because he was going to search anyway.
Right.
And he said, go get it. poured it out. He stepped all over it in the mud.
Oh.
And I know. It was the best public I've had in a long time. But anyway, then he came up to the bus, checked everything out, and saw there was nothing there and left. Didn't ticket me or anything. I was surprised, but he was very cool about it. Now, what he didn't know is I had another 150 pounds in California, so I wasn't sweating it.
Now that's cool.
Yeah. But he was nice. You know, had he been really hardcore, then I don't know what would have happened.
Right.
You know? I probably would have went into another PTSD fit, which is really ugly. But, so that's it. Just stay in your circle. You know, please, please, please remember that wherever you drive, whenever you drive, if you use cannabis medically or recreationally, know your circle, know your data points in your circle, and use it. And you know, I'll give you an example. For instance, if I was getting interrogated and they asked me what I was doing, I'd give them my name, and they'd go, boom, that's not your name. Yeah, that's my name. And then they would accuse me of doing something I wasn't doing. And I'd say, no, I was just a navigator. Boom. You're not the navigator. Yes, I'm the navigator. I was on this plane, blah, blah, blah. 12 miles off the coast, blah, blah, blah. Boom, that's not happening. Yes, it is. My name is. It just kept going back around those data points.
Right.
And that same thing for the rest of us. And I think it works great, and now I'll get off of it.
Well, I know it works great because it saved me quite a few tickets, and I didn't have anything in the car. My car has been searched numbers of times, but I don't travel with anything. So after the officer, searched the car and everything, and he didn't even give me a ticket. He just told me to slow down. So it does work, and you proved it. I proved it. So it's something that does work, people.
Yeah, and I'm happy to talk to people about it, but it sounds nonsensical, but it works like a champ, and it's a whole lot better to have a pre-story than to try and come up with one when the cop's staring you in the face.
You got that right.
Because even my knees start shaking then.
I mean, everybody gets that moment when they see them blue lights behind them, and you can't tell me from 1 second, I don't care who you are, you automatically start sweating.
Yeah, that's right. You get that trickle down your back.
Yes.
When you get stopped. Okay, let's talk a little bit about California and some of the differences and some of the things that are going on here, and how I see it affecting South Carolina.
Okay.
So first, a few facts for my friends that may or may not know this. One, California is the 6th largest economy in the entire world. If California were its own country, its economy would be the 6th largest in the entire world. So that means the United States, Japan, Germany, Britain, China, one or two others, then California.
That's huge.
That's a ton of money and people. That's a lot. 6th largest economy. So that's one thing. The second thing is, from what I understand, and you can check this out, but from what I understand, California is currently producing more cannabis than the rest of the states in the United States combined.
I believe that, without a doubt.
Yeah. Now, not everybody can buy it all up. So what that means is, and I don't know how it's going to happen, but it's going to go east. A lot of it. And that means all the Mexican cannabis that's been sold, all that's still being sold. You know, like 55 to 60% of all the cannabis sold in South Carolina is Mexican cannabis. And the government's, and our South Carolinian government's known that for 10 years and never done a thing about it.
Right.
Except arrest you or me.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, so California is producing more cannabis than all the other states combined right now. And I'm not beating my chest about California. I'm just throwing out these numbers. So what I'm saying is California is the tipping point for the rest of the United States. It is the tipping point. Now, it may not happen this year in South Carolina, but I'm going to tell you, when the world's sixth largest economy is producing more cannabis than everybody else in the United States combined, that's a powerful, powerful position. People say, well, what happens if Sessions comes in? Well, Sessions can come in. The problem for him is he would have to hire an additional 10,000 DEA agents just to close down the dispensaries in Los Angeles alone.
Wow. Plus, he'd have a second problem, Dan. There's a hiring freeze.
DEA agents at DEA. Sorry about that. I didn't mean to speak over you.
That's okay. It's a hiring freeze right now, so he can't do that.
Yeah. And shortly, it's not going to take long. It's another year or two. Shortly, we'll have so much official money that he just won't matter.
Wow.
I have never seen business. Well, only one other time have I seen business like this. And when I was very young, I lived in Silicon Valley for a short while.
Mm-hmm.
And dated someone that was from Silicon Valley. That's why I was there. And I saw the amount of money being made in the late 70s, early 80s in Silicon Valley. Well, the cannabis industry is exactly like that, except for it's even bigger.
Right.
And, so it's going to become an extraordinarily powerful industry here in another year or two, once things get sorted out. And hence, that's why I say the tipping point. Now, how things are working here. Well, they're working okay. Because one of my friends just got a $4 million tax lien put on their business.
Ooh.
Yeah, because the state is now, if you're recreational, you have to pay tax.
Wow.
And my good friends, I shouldn't say my good friends, I just know them.
Right.
My friends, the Jungle Boys, who have a huge business in LA.
Right.
And they rented 2 airplane hangars to start to grow in. No kidding. They have 2 airplane hangars on a former Marine base that they're growing in, so you know how big those grows are.
That's huge.
Yeah, humongous. And now, but they've been in business for a while, and they've been making a ton of money and not paying taxes. So the first month that are, as soon as it's legal, January 1st,
Mm-hmm.
January 7th, the Jungle Boys got a $4 million tax lien because they've been making so much money. Trust me, they'll pay it.
Good God!
They'll pay it. They've got enough money. But so the point is, the state is trying to get the taxes under control first. They're trying to get money.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not going so well right now. People are looking around going, well, what's going on? And some people are really upset about it. But the bottom line is that you have to work through the system, right?
Right.
And the system is, first of all, California's a big state. And, like some cities right now are fully recreational. recreational, and the other states or other cities are just solely medicinal, because the city can choose. And so it's going to take, a year or two for this to work its way out to where everyone's paying taxes. You go to the same places. Distributors are in place, because right now we have no real legal distributors, right? We still have the same people coming to the farms, buying the cannabis and taking it to the dispensaries. So they're setting up a distribution network, but that's going to take a while. I will say this, is that women rates really came down a great deal per unit, because of so much outdoor being sold and other things.
Mm-hmm.
But our prices overall have held pretty steady, within a couple $100.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Now, for people that are from out of state, you can just drive on in and buy all you want at the recreational stores.
Wait a minute. There's no limit.
Well, buy what you want, and come back the next day, buy more.
Dang.
Come back the next day, buy more. I mean, no one's going to let you walk out with a pound, right? But you can buy up to, I think you can buy 3 ounces or 4 ounces, something like that.
Oh, okay, that's not bad.
Yeah. But trust me, you can buy more than you can use.
Okay.
So you're not going to run out.
Wow, okay. That's cool. So you're in the situation what you're stating, y'all won't be in a situation like Nevada. Because Nevada ran out within 3 days.
Yeah, well, I will tell you that one of my favorite dispensaries ran out of bud in about 4 days or 5 days.
Wow.
Because they were sticking to, if your grow is not licensed, we're not buying. Whereas all the other legal dispensaries, there is kind of a grace period while all this stuff is getting settled up, sorted out. But some dispensaries are just going from the get-go and saying, look, we're this right way and this is the way. So they end up selling a lot of edibles and a lot of oil and vape and stuff like that.
Okay.
And that's fine. But other people just go to another dispensary.
Mm-hmm.
They just go to another dispensary. Now, let's see. Hang on. Let me think about this.
We're going to go to a quick commercial break. You're in tune to 710 Radio, Rosemary's World of Cannabis.
Are you feeling like a shadow of yourself? Is your mood on its way down? You could be suffering from low THC, also known as cannabinoid deficiency, caused by 77 years of government interference via prohibition. Do you live in a medical cannabis state or the District of Columbia? Are you over the age of 18 and seeking non-toxic natural health, well-being, and peace of mind? Ask your doctor if cannabis may be right for you. After 10,000 years of recorded human use and 77 years of failed prohibition on the world's most extensively tested plant, the results are in. Cannabis has no known lethal dose and is arguably the safest and most comprehensive therapeutic substance known to man. Cannabis remained in the United States pharmacopoeia until 1941, and cannabinoids are currently patented by the federal government as an anti-inflammatory U.S. patent 6630507. Human brains have cannabinoid receptors. Cannabinoids are lubricants in the human body. Due to prohibition, our bodies have been denied essential lubrication. Imagine never changing or adding to the oil in your car. The use of cannabis for low THC may cause immediate relief, including a general feeling of well-being, chronic smiling or laughing, feelings of euphoria, increased creativity or clarity, a greater appreciation for music and art, the desire to dance, increased feelings of inspiration, compassion or unity, a need for truth and justice, or you may wake feeling more well-rested than usual. It's undetermined to know exactly how many symptoms the use of cannabis may alleviate because of federal prohibition. There were dozens identified in the 1909 Eli Lilly Pharmaceutical Handbook. Currently, over 80% of the population supports the right to use cannabis therapeutically, and 92% of its users have declared significant non-toxic relief. The most common side effects, which are usually mild to moderate and may fade or disappear completely over time, are dry mouth and drowsiness. Other more serious side effects can include growing and repairing brain cells and DNA or improve vision, may prevent Alzheimer's, dementia, dementia, glaucoma, nausea, and suicide. May provide relief from autism, asthma, anorexia, arthritis, AIDS, cancer, Crohn's, depression, epilepsy, fibromyalgia, gout, IBS, insomnia, MS, migraine, pain, Parkinson's, PTSD, and spasticity. Use caution while driving or doing other physical activities until you know how cannabis affects you. May cause paranoia or nervousness specifically caused by real-life government intervention in your quest for life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness in the USA. Ask your doctor if cannabis may be right for you. Brought to you as a public service announcement by the People's Plant, a campaign of conscience.
And we're back. It's 50 minutes after the hour. You're in tune to 710 Radio, Rosemary's World of Cannabis. Dan, you back with me now?
Yeah, I'm back. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Well, I just wanted, I have to, unfortunately, I have to go due to a minor emergency, but I just wanted to say that from what I've learned from California is that it takes time, things work out, and we all end up getting what we need, but it just takes time. So we need to push for the IR, we need to push for James Smith, and we need to vote people out regardless of their party if they don't support us. Pretty simple. And Rosemary, thank you and all of your listeners. I really appreciate it, but I'm going to have to go now, dear.
Okay, Dan, we appreciate you, and we will be talking to you real soon. You have a great day.
All right, see ya.
Tell Lisa I say
bye-bye.
hello and give her a big hug for me. Guys, you just heard from Dan. He had to cut it short. He had to take care of some business. And we can understand that. We work in the cannabis community one way or the other, and you do have things that come up, and by it being live radio, that's, that's something we can't, stop or solve. So that's no big thing. But, hey, Dan put a lot of, I don't know if you caught the whole show. If you hadn't, please rewind it. Dan put out a whole bunch of good information about cannabis stops, about everything that you would want to do, about being out in California and the whole 9 yards. So Dan, thank you so very much for coming on the show today and sharing everything you're sharing. But real quick, we got exactly about 8 minutes before we close. I want to go ahead and something I don't get to do too often. I want to bring y'all breaking news from Reading, North Carolina. I'm waiting for everything to pull up. The phone is loading slow. Do apologize about that. Okay, let's see now. Where are we at? Okay, there we go. This is from WBTV.com. 65 pounds. You heard me again. That's right. I said 65 pounds of marijuana was found in a home. But this is the thing. Where in the home it was found at. And as soon as my phone pull up this story, I'll be happy. Oh wow, they even got his picture up as of now. You can go to the WSOC website to see this. I'm hoping it won't pop up no sound. But this was in Catawba County, North Carolina. 65 pounds of marijuana and a stolen handgun was found in the Hickory Police Department dispatcher's home in Catawba County, the official said Tuesday. The police dispatcher's husband, Wally Lai Vang, was arrested in the case. Investigators say they went to the home on the 4600 block of Belvedere Drive in Claremont, where investigators were investigating heavy drug trafficking in the area. Investigators say they were initially given permission to search the home, but says the homeowners revoked that search consent after investigators found 3 pounds of marijuana. After the search warrant was obtained, investigators say they found 2 large plastic storage containers in the bedroom that held numerous bundles of high-grade marijuana. Investigators also reported finding a handgun which was stolen from Georgia. The deputy said the knock and talk led to the largest siege of marijuana this year by their drug task force. Digital scales, a vacuum cleaner, and a weapon was found also during the search, deputy said. The marijuana had collectively weighed approximately 65 pounds with a street value of $130,000, the deputy said. Wayne was charged with felony trafficking, marijuana possession, felony possession with intent to sell and deliver marijuana, felony maintaining a dwelling for controlled substance, felony possession of a weapon by convicted felon, and felony possession of a stolen firearm. Vank was placed in the Catawba County Detention Center under a $250,000 bond. Excuse me. According to the Hickory Police, the dispatcher is no longer employed with the department, and police says an internal investigation will be performed. So, what I'm thinking is, they ain't charged her yet, but we're going to stay tuned and we're going to follow real close in this story. This story broke within the last, it broke, I know, at least 15 to 20 minutes before it's coming on air. And it is a reliable source. This is through one of the local villages here in North Carolina. So, hey guys, that's about our time for today. I just wanted to bring you a little bit of local news that's kind of sad in a way, because we don't know what all went on with that, but that was just a little sensitive, and I feel bad for my man, because ain't no way in the world you can say that you were using 65 pounds of marijuana. Then on top of that, you had a gun, and you're a felon. So, man, you got some problems. I hope you got a good lawyer. So, that's about it for today, ladies and gentlemen. I want you to tune in also. I was sent a message by Ricky Lofton. I forgot the gentleman that he told me the name, and he never got back with me. But it's an event being held in Florence, South Carolina today about a hemp event. If you know about that hemp event, any part of it, please hit me up on Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter so I can go ahead and get that information out there. And if you have a story or anything of such cannabis related, or you have somebody that you think would be good coming on the air, hit us up the same way. On Facebook, you know how to hit me up on my personal page, or you can hit me up on Miss Green Jeans. On Twitter, you go to Miss Green Jeans and add that number 1 to it, because if you don't, you're going to be talking to a ghost, because I'm not there. Okay, Instagram, Miss Green Jeans. Anyway else, even up on Dubby. Hi, Dubby. You can hit me up on Dubby. So you know how I always close. Hey, Rick, thank you once again for letting me be who I am 5 days a week in the mornings from 8 a.m. to 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and Tuesdays and Thursdays I do Rosemary's World of Cannabis, where it's straight talk, no chaser. We go ahead and give you the top news, stories, interests, and everything else. This is about cannabis. We gonna be on top of it. So Rick, thank you once again for letting me do what I do. From the Rocky Mountain tops of Denver, Colorado, all the way down to this nasty ass clay here in Rock Hill, South Carolina. You've just been informed as well as educated on cannabis related information, news, and a little fun facts every now and then. I'm your girl, Miss Green Jeans. We will see you tomorrow morning, bright and early at 8 a.m. Love you now. Peace out.
Are you feeling like a shadow of yourself? Is your mood on its way down? You could be suffering from low THC, also known as cannabinoid deficiency, caused by 77 years of government interference via prohibition. Do you live in a medical cannabis state or the District of Columbia? Are you over the age of 18 and seeking non-toxic natural health, well-being, and peace of mind? Ask your doctor if cannabis may be right for you. After 10,000 years of recorded human use and 77 years of failed prohibition on the world's most extensively tested plant, the results are in. Cannabis has no known lethal dose and is arguably the safest and most comprehensive therapeutic substance known to man. Cannabis remained in the United States pharmacopoeia until 1941, and cannabinoids are currently patented by the federal government as an anti-inflammatory. U.S. Patent 6630507. Human brains have cannabinoid receptors. Cannabinoids are lubricants in the human body. Due to prohibition, our bodies have been denied essential lubrication. Imagine never changing or adding to the oil in your car. The use of cannabis for low THC may cause immediate relief, including a general feeling of well-being, chronic smiling or laughing, feelings of euphoria, increased creativity or clarity, a greater appreciation for music and art, the desire to dance, increased feelings of inspiration, compassion or unity, a need for truth and justice, or you may wake feeling more well-rested than usual. It's undetermined to know exactly how many symptoms the use of cannabis may alleviate because of federal prohibition. There were dozens identified in the 1909 Eli Lilly Pharmaceutical Handbook. Currently, over 80% of the population supports the right to use cannabis therapeutically, and 92% of its users have declared significant non-toxic relief. The most common side effects, which are usually mild to moderate and may fade or disappear completely over time, are dry mouth and drowsiness. Other more serious side effects can include growing and repairing brain cells and DNA, or improve vision, may prevent Alzheimer's, dementia, glaucoma, nausea, and suicide, may provide relief from autism, asthma, anorexia, arthritis, AIDS, cancer, Crohn's, depression, epilepsy, fibromyalgia, gout, IBS, insomnia, MS, migraine, pain, Parkinson's, PTSD, and spasticity. Use caution while driving or doing other physical activities until you know how cannabis affects you. May cause paranoia or nervousness, specifically caused by real-life government intervention in your quest for life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness in the USA. Ask your doctor if cannabis may be right for you. Brought to you as a public service announcement by the People's Plant, a campaign of conscience.
Thank you for choosing 710 Radio Power. in Denver, Colorado. Once again, thank you so much. We appreciate you. Have a good evening.